And starting off, review stream. And this time, this one doesn't have any lag, so if you have any questions, I can answer them immediately. Alright, so whenever I'm playing the game, I'll just like write down a bunch of like random points in the game where I'm like, oh crap, what did I like do here, or what should I have done here? And then I'll just review them after the game. So I'm going to be going through those. And if you have any questions from the game, you can ask those as well. So first question, East 2, first turn. Alright. So I got Hatsu, Ton, Pair. So if I can get both of these, that's pretty good. It's already 5,800 points. Hatsu, there's only one left, but meh. That means it's less usable from other people. I got the door as well, and another Haku. So what do we do right here? Whenever you see like two Yakuhai tiles like this, the immediate, like, I guess, jerk reaction is like, Honitsu chance! So, should I throw out 9 pin or 9 mon? Or should I keep around, or should I throw out 8 9 so in the suit that I have the less tiles of? Well, in this case, I also have the Dora, so if I do end up waiting on the Dora Tonki, that's already a Mongon. But ideally, you don't want to rely on that, especially if you already have some good worth in your hand. Because everyone's going to be holding on to the Dora for dear life until something happens. Spine says it's an obvious Honro Chitoitsu. Yep, just need a few more pairs. How many tiles is that for Kokushi almost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more away from Kyushu Kuhai. Yeah, I think actually throwing 9 pin right here is okay. Because like everything's like really bad shapes. Like if I had some good like floating middle tiles, I think that's a little bit different. But in this case right here, like if the 7 or the 3s do come out, I think I should probably still take them. Because even if I do pawn these and like keep switching over later on, it's gonna take a while. And even if I end up with a 2,900 point hand or just 5,800 point hand, that's not bad. Yeah, I should probably throw 9 pin here, I think. Shuri says, I don't think a 1 tile difference in suit is particularly enough to cut the 8-9 block, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. So then, 9 mon or 9 pin? I guess 9 pin? Because like if I get the 7, it can already be used by the 5. Though we already have technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks here. And so even if we do draw something around the 9, it doesn't matter that much unless we want to switch over to Chanta as well, which actually is a possibility because that would bump us up if we had like this, and Chanta. That would bump us up to a Mongon. But then we'd still need to find another pair. Yeah, I think 9. Yeah, I think 9 pin is okay here. Wait. And next one. South 2, 5th turn. Or not South 2. East 4, 3rd turn? What do I do here? So South 4, 1 Homba. Dora is the 7 Mon. And I was wondering, should I have just thrown that 9 or thrown out one of these? Looking at the blocks that we have, we got 1 right here, 2, 3, 4 blocks. The reason I was wondering, should I keep the 9? Is because the door is the 7. So if we draw another 7, if we keep the 9 around, we can utilize that with 7, 8, 9. Or is it more worth to keep the Yakuhai tiles at this point. So we already got 4 blocks, except this one and this one are kind of unstable, because this is kind of like an upgraded penchant, and this is just a iffy pair. So let's see. If we could open up this hand, what would that even become? For instance, if we got another 7, then we'd have like 2 blocks right here with the 9, one right here and one right here. So technically we could almost move over to Honitsu, but that's way too far. Plus we already have the good 2-3 shape right here. And then if we do keep the 9, are we happier with keeping the 9 and drawing an 8, or are we happier with throwing out the 9 and drawing like a Haku or a Chun? Considering that we have this pair right here, it's pretty easy to open up a hand, and then, you know, if anyone reaches or something, fall back on this. So Chun and Haku right here are really nice for actually completing the hand. But if we keep the 9 and we get another 8, then we would have like a run right there, Ryeonmin right here, Ryeonmin right here, and a pair right here. And so could potentially go for Penfu, Dora Dora, so that's also really good. And looking from everyone's discards right now, discard his own Yakuhai and that, Otakaze, and then 1s and 9s. So these are still pretty far out there. Like if people are following like the general progression of what they should discard, usually lone 1s and 9s will come before honor tiles, so they might have some. And then of course, yeah, I don't know what I should do here. My gut tells me I think the 9-1 is best. Mainly because the utility of a fast hand that you can defend against, defend with is pretty nice. Yeah, it is East 4, and I would like some nice points to catch up to dealer, but with this hand, unless we get like a few lucky draws, it's kind of hard. And even if we do throw this out, we can still use the 8-mon, so it's not like we have like a backfire from that. And we already do have like 4 shapes, and this one can also form a Ryeonmin pretty easy. Plus, if we do draw another door right here, technically we could, you know, throw that 6 out, but I don't know about that. Shuri says probably just 9-mon. It only backfires on 8-mon and another 7. Yeah. 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 I'm gonna take a picture of this one. I need to figure out what to do with like all of the pictures that I have from What Would You Do in Games. I wonder how many I have right now. A good amount. Yeah, I'm liking the 9-mon right now as well. I'll get some second opinions on this too. Okay, next one. 8-mon Pon. Oh, no, that's the wrong turn. Next up is South 1, 7th turn, and 9th turn. Ooh, yeah, this one. Okay, so, yeah. So usually when I'm going for open hands, I have a couple like rules that I like to follow. Because if you're just like opening like all the way and you end up with like, you know, 3 calls with your 2,000 point hand and dealer reaches and you're like, oh no, and you die. That's not that you were unlucky. That's kind of expected. Similarly, if you open up with a hand and you end up with like really bad weight and you can't complete it, someone reaches and you explode, same thing. So I try not to open if I don't have like at least a pair in my hand, because it's kind of hard to get the pair as your last thing. Ideally, you want to end up on a good side weight, especially with an open hand, because time is of the essence. Unless, of course, you have like, you know, a Mongon, then it doesn't matter what you have, just go for it. In this case right here, though, we can pawn this, take 1 Shanten, and then we can have double side right here, double side right here. The only backfire to this is that we don't have any safe tiles to kind of fall back on. Like For the dealer, if they reachy, we're just very sad. If this person reaches, we're extremely sad. If this person reaches, meh, maybe we can throw the 3. But overall, it's going to be pretty difficult to defend. If we don't call that, though, then let's see. We're still going to need to figure out what to do with this because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 blocks. So we still need to complete this one, and this one's kind of bad. And if we end up with that as our last shape, that's going to be kind of iffy as well. Not to mention, I mean, if we do just like pass that up, we do have some extra safe tiles for the dealer, but the other 2 people still don't. Plus, this hand is kind of good in that it can take a Dora right here. And if we do take the Dora, then we'll probably end up on the, well, we can either end up on the 3-6 or we can end up on the 1-4, both of which are good weights. Because they're good weights, and our hand is potentially like 2,000 points, if West or North reaches, including their reach stick that it would give us, that's 3,000 points of the good weight, which, estimated value-wise, is technically enough to fight both of them and be in the clear. Oh, Spine says, I didn't get the 5-pin discard there, locking in the 3-4-5, losing O-pin for not exactly a safe tile. 7-pin. I'll talk about them once they come up. Da, da, da. Do you know what round that was on, Spine?
Home.
So right here, I think it kind of sucks to call this, but I think considering what we have in the hand, it's not that bad. If this hand if this hand was only going to be like 1,000 no matter what, I think maybe even passing that up might be okay. But because it does have 2,000 and it can technically potentially fight these 2 reaches, I think it's okay. Oh yeah, when I call this. And this is the other thing I was wrote on here. So after I call this, like, what should I throw? In the game, I'm like, oh, I want to keep the safer tiles, and so I should start with the middle and go outside. But yeah, that was a mistake. Right here, I should 100% throw 7. The difference between 5 and 6 is not that much. Both of them are pretty dangerous. And since I'm already open with this hand anyway, if I do draw another safe tile, like let's say the last West, yeah, I would totally throw out the 5 and keep that around. But because I don't have anything right now, it's safer to just maximize my Ukeide to get into Tenpai as quick as possible. So rather than throwing 5 right here, yeah, I should definitely throw 7. I noticed that when I was playing, I'm like, oh shit, I messed up. Not to mention, I can also get like red 5s with this as well, so it's a nice benefit. Okay, and then I said something about the 9th turn as well. This right here, which is technically safer. So I was looking, yeah, so I should have thrown out the Tuso right here. If we're worrying about safety right now with our floating tile, useful-wise, like this doesn't do anything. Even if we get a 6, we still need that pair, so we can't really hold on to that. But safety-wise, the Tuso is safe for them. But the 7-mon is also safe for them, and the 7-mon is also pretty safe for this person as well. Early Mentagi right here, and then also Suji. And both of them are bad for the dealer. The main reason I'm like, oh, maybe I want to keep the 2 over the 7 here was because if you just look at like the base defensive value of them, specifically against the dealer, the 2 kind of beats out the 7. But considering that's safe for both of these people, I think I probably should have thrown out the 2 here. And then later on, I got the 7 back, and I'm like, oh, cool. Mahjong is like, I saw you made a mistake here. Thank you, Mahjong. Alright, next up, South. 2-0. 5th turn. Oh, this is an interesting shape. Yeah, so let's see what we got. So it's South 2. Dealer. Still basically 1 points. Dora is the 7, and looking at her blocks, we got 1, 2, 3, and then this beautiful shape over here. which is like I don't even know what. 2, 3, 5, 7, 7, 8. So if we hmm, so we can throw out the 8, lock in the 2, 5, and then the 7, 7, 8, and then we'd have like a solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Um, we could technically throw out the 7 and keep around the 5. That way we can get a 6, and then if we do happen to get that, then we could technically throw out one of these conchons for that. Um, Actually, that might be good. So I think this is probably a choice for me between the 5 or either the 7 or the 8. Um, hmm. So we do have also the potential of Sanshoku, which is kind of nice. Though how would we even get to that? One way we could do that is technically if we throw out the 5, then we got, complete, and then we got the 2, 3, so that's like a good double-sided. And then we're probably going to have like our pair in here, but not necessarily, because we have the 7, 7, 8. And so if we do happen to, say, draw, I don't know, a 6, or well, ideally, a 2 or a 4, then we could switch this over and make this our pair, and then make this double-sided weight. If we do that, then we'd have like double-sided, complete, and then 8 and 6. Then we'd have a potential for Sanshuku as well. But even in the case that we throw out, let's say, the 7, and we keep this around, if we do happen to draw the 2 or the 4, we can still do that with this shape, and we're still leaving the 6 possibility. But then again, if we have the 6 possibility over here, yeah, I guess in the case that we do draw a pair, whether we have the 5 or not, we can utilize the 6. But if we don't draw a pair, we can only utilize the 6 right here if we have the 5. So this might be a example of a case where you kind of want 6 blocks to basically maximize the chance of getting rid of your bottlenecks, which are in this case are the conchons that we have. That's interesting. So let's see. So throw out 7. Draw that. If I draw 6, then I could throw out probably... What would I throw out, actually? I could throw out the 7-mon, or I could throw out... break up one of these. But I don't know which one's going to be completed yet, so maybe the 7-mon. But if I keep the 7-mon around, then I have 7, 8, 8 shape right here. Which means that if I do happen to draw a pair, so a 6, 8, 2, or 4, then I instantly upgrade to a double-sided over here. Huh. Spine says, I have this tool I wrote a while ago. It says 8-pin has the highest chance to improve by 2 shanten and 4 draws. Not sure why yet. That's interesting. So probably because, so in the case that we do happen to draw the 6 where we like utilize this shape and we have to get rid of something, if we get rid of like the 1 or the 4, I guess that doesn't help us that much. I mean, well, we can still use like the 5, but that's the only way it can extend. I don't know. Why the 8-pin? Cutting 5-mon, drawing 6. What about 2-so then? So if we cut the 5 and then we draw the 6, would we cut 2-so? I mean, we could. In that case, we'd have like technically 2 Ryanmen right here, right? So we'd have 1, 2, another one right here, 3, this shape right here, 4, and then we technically need a pair. And so yeah, we'd probably cut something out of this shape, or out of these 2. So we can cut the 2, and then if we happen to get the 5 Sozu with the nice 3-sided shape, then we can, upgrade over here. And then also this shape is really good for making a pair. For improving 1 shanten, 5-mon wins out. Also, it's really close anyways. Yeah. Actually, Hmm. So would we rather have a 6 7 7 8, or would you rather have a 5 6 7 7 8 8 shape here? Hmm. I guess the 6 7 8's not that bad, especially since we can technically open up for Sanshoku as well. Yeah, and the Tuso's in the same range. I wonder what Hitori Mahjong says about this. That doesn't account for like calling and whatnot. If we're thinking about calling, then if we happen to get the 6, and then could lock in the 6 7 8 with Sanshoku and Dora, potentially even Tanyao, but we have the 2 3, so not unlikely, but still could be wiped away pretty quick. Let's see. Hitori Mahjong Simulator. Go. Oh, and actually, looking on the board, there's also two eights. There's also what's it called? Two nines out right now, which kind of diminishes the value of the 6 8. Or well, I'm sorry, the 7 7 8 8. Hmm. I wonder how that affects it. I'm gonna throw this into Hitori Mahjong Simulator as well. No. Okay. Do. So we are on the 5th turn. And our hand is what? And Dora is the 7. This one also doesn't account for red Dora. I think that's right. Alright, so what do we got here? So on this one it says we can maybe ignore the EV, but looking at like the winning percentages is kind of nice. 8 pin for winning. Oh, so that kind of lines up with what you said of the 8 pin being a higher one right there. But yeah, it's really close regarding the EV in this example. That's pretty interesting. Whereas the 5 and this kind of have a little bit less chance. Ah, that's interesting. So maybe it's the case of just like it's if we look at it from like standard if you look at it from a standard like 5 block perspective, then we already have like the 2. Or 2 3, so that's 1 block. We have this shape right here, so that's 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so I guess it's just suggesting slim down to 5 blocks right here. And then we, of course, would either be getting rid of like the 6 or the 8, or 6 8 or 2 4. 6 8 gives the Sanshoku, so even though this 8 would technically give a little bit higher Ukeide, the 2 might be better because the Sanshoku keep. Hmm, that's cool. Wait. Alright. That's a pretty cool scenario right there. And I guess the utility of keeping this 5 around is the if we do happen to, let's say, throw out the 2 right here, and then we do draw the 6, and then we drop the 4, we're instantly in 1 Shanten. Hmm, that's cool. Alright, And then 8 mon pawn. Should I have pawned this? I do not think so. Actually, no, I don't think. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Because if I do pawn this, I'm gonna have to drop these two, and then I'm gonna be left over with just a couple of kanchan. The open hand is 2,900 points, which isn't bad. But being stuck with a couple kanchans is pretty bad. Not to mention, I don't really need this. Like, I already have this 1-4 shape right here, which I can probably easily get. My bottlenecks are these, and this doesn't help clear it up much. Okay. Next up. Oh, and also I have another one right here. Formon calling. Oh, wait, should I have called the Formon? So I upgrade this right here. This is now, both of these are Ryonkans right now. Formon, do I call this? Huh. So Toyman is open right now, confirming at least 3,900 points because they have Dora and they have to have some other thing like Tanyao. So do I call this? If I open up my hand, it could potentially be like 2,900, or if I get like a red 5, I can bump up to like 5,800. Not to mention, oh, let's see, look on the board, it's like 1, 2, 3. But if I do want to like fill in these holes right here, calling is pretty good for that. Value-wise, I guess 2,900 isn't bad, or if I can even bump it up to 5,800 with a lucky red Dora, that's also okay. Should I call that though? Well, look on the board. We got 1, 2, 3. So there's still technically 5 tiles in this shape. In which case, Ryonkans are pretty bad going into like lower Shanten because you have to get rid of them. You have to get rid of the stuff around it, so they go back to regular Kanchans at that point. Shuri hates that 5 tiles remaining for Ryeonman shape, and you lock yourself into one bad shape with only one red door to increase the value. Yeah. Plus, even if I do call this, then I'm gonna have to like throw out one of like my Ryonkans right there. So it's like call, throw out. Still one Shanten. Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point, because we can see like there's still 5 tiles out, I think that's probably the dividing point. But if it comes out again, oh, now do we take it? So this one's a little bit more interesting, I think, just because it's a few turns in the future. The closer we get to the end, the more beneficial calling becomes, because you're not gonna have as many draws. You're not gonna have as many chances to utilize reach. So do we take the second one? Well, if we are calling for Tempai, maybe we should actually ignore it. Because if we look at these shapes, we got there's still 3 tiles technically remaining right here, 4 tiles right here, except Sozu looks hella expensive right now. Then we also got 7 pin, which we have 4 of, and 5 pin, which got 3 of. And then for this one, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do pass that up, we got 4 remaining in this shape. And then we also have the movements of Toymen doing whatever they have. Yeah, I don't know if I should call this or not. I feel as though not calling it is kind of iffy, because going 2 Shanten in the last row is probably not going to work that well. Whereas if we do confirm our hand to be open, then we can call basically anything that this person gives us. Furthermore, because we can call this, if we call these later on, um, most likely we're not going to be fighting for a winning hand because the ones are still out there, and we probably take the ones if we get them, and so it'd just be karaten, only tenpai, no yaku. But if we call the four, um, we do advance to one shanten. We do kind of like destroy one of our shapes right here, but we're going into the last round, and then we do technically have Tanya and Dora. So if we do get to Tenpai, it's actually something we can fight for against like a bigger threat. Hmm. I don't know. I kind of like calling there. If it was like the one mon, I think I would maybe pass it up, but because it's the four mon right here, and we're going into the last round or the last row. Hmm. Shuri, even against Kamicha and Shimocha, Richi, your safety isn't awful. With the 7 Mon Suji against Kamicha and safe 6 So against Shimocha, so I think calling isn't bad. Oh, that is true as well. So if this person's already open, but if either of these persons reach, we do have some options with at least Suji and whatnot. Oh, and then safe tile right here. Oh, plus we also have like we can see a wall of the sixes as well, so that helps us a lot. For instance, we can see 666, and both of them have dropped one Sozu, so the 4 So is also pretty safe. Yeah, I guess Colleague isn't that bad.
C.
Hmm. All right. Next up, South 2, third Homba. There's so many Richis on the field, or Richi sticks. So there's 3,900 points on the field right now. Fifth turn. Ooh. So this is kind of fun. So we got one solid shape, two, three, and then like a pair right here, four. And so we need one more. Need one more run. So here, I guess this is a choice either between throwing like the two or the seven. Because if we throw the two, we're locking in the pair, and then basically we can draw anything around the floating tiles that we have. Or we can throw out the seven, and then if we get the three, we're still not that bad off. Or we can get the one as well. Because if we do get the three and confirm like a 1, 2, 3 right here, then either we can keep the one around and get like end up with like a 1, 4 shape, or we can keep this around end up with the 5, 6 shape to get our pair. So waiting on the pair for the last moment isn't actually that bad because we'll have a couple good shapes to end up with. So which one do we throw here? That's a good question. Oh, later, Spine. Thanks for watching. I think I'm gonna throw this one, Hitori Mahjong Simulator, as well. Hitori Mahjong Simulator is not good for some things. For instance, if you're trying to determine like the best value path, especially if you can take in red fives, that changes it a lot. Or if your hand has calling potential, then that also changes it a lot as well. But in the case of something like this, where it's like, meh, we just care about like shape really, Hitori Mahjong Simulator is pretty good for that. So let's see. So we got that. South, Haku, and a 5. Dora is... Or Dora indicator is the 1 pin, and everything else, let's see what we got. Okay, 7, 7, got a 3. Alright, go. Okay, for this one, what does it suggest? EV-wise, it also suggests the 2 Manzu. Looking at the winning percentages, we got that one and the 7 pin are pretty close, where it shows the 7 pin being a little bit higher. In our case, though, on our board, we're also missing one 7 pin. Show it real quick. So on our board, we're missing one 7 pin right here. We're missing an 8 and a 9 right here, so that also kind of drops the utilization of this a little. So I wonder how much that would change it. But then we're also technically missing 9, 9, but I don't know if that changes as much either. Yuki, what's the app being used? Hitori Mahjong Simulator. Hitori Mahjong Simulator. I can get the link for that real quick. One sec. Hitori Mahjong. There it is. I don't know if I can post links in Twitch chat, though. Oh, yeah, they can. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty nice app for specific cases. So if we're looking at the number of tiles that are good for us between throwing the 7 and throwing the 2, in both cases the 6, 9 are good, so we can throw that out. In both cases, anything around the Sozu is good, except, yeah, anything around the Sozu is good as well. In both cases, anything around the 3 is also good. So then we just have the stuff that's around the 7 and the 2 that makes it a difference. So for the 7, the ones that we're really happy with are the 8 and the 6, because that gives us another double-sided weight. And looking at the board, we got how many remaining? So 2 8s and then 4 6s. So 6 tiles. And those result within a shape that has either 7 tiles or 6 tiles. Then for the 2, if we keep the 2 around, what are we happy with? We're happy with 1 because technically that's like a 1-1-2 shape, so 2-3 is pretty decent. We lose Penfu or something, but that's whatever. We're also happy with the 3, in which case there's 4 of those remaining. So it's both about like 7 and 7. Or, I'm sorry, 6 and 6. In that case, yeah, I think the 2 is probably better. Because in this case, all the good ones for the 7 lead to Penfu, while this one does not. So yeah, I guess 2 does win out a little. And this also plays into the next question I had on this hand of... should I Ricci or should I Dama here? So at South 2, I'm dealer with 2,600 points. Right now I'm 13,600 points behind first place. But more importantly, there's 3,900 points on the field. Oh, Shori says, interesting, textbook Ricci, but yeah, should you do 3,900? Yeah, so usually if you have like, regular like Penfu with the dealer, that's like textbook go Ricci. The reason why is because even though your winning percentage does drop down some, the percentage that you get from, or not, the remaining winning percentage plus the added points that you get from Ricci just like blows the other one out of the water. But in this case, we have 3,900 points on the field, and that can change it a lot. So like if we were not dealer right here, I think it's very, very, very plausible that we would say, yeah, definitely no Ricci, just say Dama, because the amount of points that we get from, or the amount of winning percentage that we get from Ricci, or we lose from Ricci, is not as good as staying Dama with 3,900 extra points. But you could argue that because there's that many points on the field, more people are more likely to push even if you reach, because it's more beneficial for them to push. And so the difference between reachy and not reachy might actually be not as high as you would think. Hmm. I like this situation. I think I'll throw this one down in the Mahjong Discord. What would you do? Hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. If I looked into this further, I could probably figure that out. I think I have several books that have the winning rates versus reachy rates of dealer Penfu. I just do not know where it is. Oh, here it is. It's one of these two books. Gendai Mahjong. Katsutame. I think it's in the first one. Dama has the potential for Sanshoku 2 if you draw the 9 Mon. Oh, that is true. So Dama does have the additional benefits of that. Let's see. These books are too long. I think this graph is also on Haz's site. Let's see. Tenpai Ritsu. Flow. Where's the Richi versus not Richi section? Darn. I'll just have to write that down and find it later. Oh, thanks, Shuri. Okay. Yeah, at a gut, if you were non-dealer here, I would probably 100% say Dama's pretty good. As a dealer, though, the benefit of a dealer reach with this many points as well is that people are less likely to push, because it's kind of hard to push the dealer. If we're looking at if they're following like standard EV, where it's like average dealer hand is going to be 9,000 points for Ichi, then they need either half of that with a good weight or up to that amount with a bad weight. So there's 3,900 points on the field, so almost like 4,000 points. If you throw in the dealer's reach stick, that's going to be like 4,900, so almost 5,000 points. Because that's the case, they only need about, what is that, 3,000 points to fight. So technically, they could even fight with just like Richi Penfu and still, be on top. Because the average amount of that hand will go over. Hmm. Yeah, I think Dama right here might be okay. Especially considering the point situation and also that this person have already dropped a 9. So if they do happen to draw another 9 and there's no big threat in the field, they'll probably throw it. Hmm. Interesting. All right, next one. We are going to South 4. Actually, go back in time. South 2, 4th turn, and 7th turn. 2-1. Ooh, so yeah, this one is also a nice shape. So what should we do here? If you're looking for Tanyao, then the 9 So is pretty good. But if you're okay with the 8-Mon reach, or 8 Sozu reach, then yeah, you should probably do the 8 pin here. Because if you get the 3 or the 5, then you would still take it. If you do happen to get the 6 or the 3 first, you could Dama on the 7. Or if you get the 7 or the 9, then you would Richi with the Richi Pinfu, Ipeiko Dora. So yeah, I think I messed up right here. I think I should have thrown the 8 out. And then whenever this chance came back, I'm like, hey, let's do that again. Where is it? Here we go. Switched over to this shape for the same thing. Because if I do take the Tonki, even though I have the 9 already gone right here, if I do get the Tonki, I'll probably take the 8 pin anyway and just stay Dama. For Tanya, for what's that, 7,700 point hands. So, yeah, rather than 2 Tonkis right there, having a shape like this is better. And then in the case that I draw the 8 Sozu first, what would I do? If I draw 8 Suzu first, that's kind of one of the backfires, but I guess it's not that bad because I can still drop 4 or 5 Penzu and stay Dama, and then I do have a lot of upgrade chances. Not to mention, even though I'm Dama with this, I still have a Yaku because I have the Ipeiko, and so it's not that bad of a misfire. Click. Alright, and next one up is 7th turn. Oh, right here. So then this is a question of, okay, but does that situation change if we have the Dora? So we end up on a Dora Tonki that's like a Dama 12,000 point hand if we do get the Tenpai. Or if we actually draw the Dora first and we have Pinfu, then still Dama, and if Futsumo, it's a Hanuman. What's the big difference in Ukere? So if we just look at this like base, let's say throwing the 9 Pinzu versus throwing the 9 Manzu. If we throw the 9 Pinzu, we get into Tenpai on 3, 6, so 8 tiles right there, and then 8 and 9, so another 6 tiles right there. So 14 tiles. Versus if we throw out this, then we get Tenpai on 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So that's how many tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Minus 4, so times 4, so that's 20 minus this one right here, so 23. So 23 versus 16. And then we also have the benefit of getting more value from this. That's kind of interesting too. I'm curious what this one. Well, actually, no, I can't do it on Hitori Mahjong Simulator because I can't simulate the extra Dora. Hmm. If we had no Dora in this hand, I think it might be better to throw out the 8. But because we have the Dora in this hand, I think it's better to throw out the 9. Though I could say it could probably go either way. Even though the difference in Ukede is, or available tiles is like 7 tiles, the amount of value that you get from this is pretty good. But in this case, a good amount of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or actually, that's not as much as I thought actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but there's one gone, so only 5. So only 5 of these chances actually lead to Pinfu, Dora, Ipeiko. Maybe 9 pin is good right here. Plus, the Ninemon is a very interesting Dora because it's really hard to use. That being said, if there is no 9 pin or Ninemon out anytime by the time you hit the middle rounds, someone could be holding on to them for dear life, and they might be kind of weary of dropping them just randomly. But if they have something worth fighting for, then I think they'll drop it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. Because in the most cases right here, I'm going to be ending up with a Tonki anyway. Or I'm going to be ending up with a Penchon. Whereas right here, if I get that, even if I do end up with a Tonki on that, it's not that bad. But I am dealer, and I already have a um, Dama, what is that, 3,900 point hand, even if I get one of the less opportune draws. So the extra tiles that I get to get into Tempai is actually really good. Mm. So this also might be a case where it's like, well, because I'm dealer, I think I should probably drop the 9 mon. If I wasn't dealer, it might be very possible to drop the 9 pin. And in both cases, if I didn't have that Dora in the E-Peiko, I'd probably also drop the 9 pin. Oh, sure, he found it. In Fukuchi's push-pull book, in situation 111, there is more or less the exact situation. Ricci versus Dama with 3,900 points in the middle is non-dealer, with the point difference a little different. I actually have that book like right behind me. Let's see. Da-da-da. That is situation 111. So at the very end of the book. Okay, so that one is also Dama or not. You get to Tenpai, and it's like the 7th turn. And no one else is in Ricci. Points are pretty flat. East 3, 3 Homba. So do you take Pinfu only or not? And you're non-dealer in this case. Ooh, that's interesting. In this one he says Ricci. The reason why is 一般としては頭の方が上がり率は高くなる。しならりしても上がり率。Ah. So in this case, he argues that because of his weight, or actually because of his discards, um, yeah, because of his discards, whether he stays Dama or Ricci, the difference between his winning rate doesn't actually change that much. In our case, though, I wonder. Let's go back to that. That one was South 2, 3rd Homba on
Beach.
this turn. Oh, it's actually the 7th turn as well. That's funny. Hmm. Considering that. So yeah, this one's a little bit different than the one in Fukuchi's book. The weight looks a little bit easier to come out of the river, especially since we have like 3 of the 7, so the 9 is pretty unusable. So if we stay Dama, then it'll probably come out if it does hit their hand. But what's the extra benefit of Ricci? So if we stay Dama, that's what? 1,500 points for the base hand. Whereas if we Ricci, the average Ricci of, or average amount of points that you get from a dealer Ricci is like 1.5 Han, so it goes up to 2.9, and then 2.9 between 2.9 and 2 or 5.8. So that's like an extra 13, so 42. Hmm. So that's almost a difference of an extra 3,000 points if we do Ricci. But how likely are people to push against this? How likely are they to fold? And if they do push, then how likely are they to deal into me? Hmm. Ippan toshite dama. uh, yeah, I kind of like Ricci here too. If only because if I stay
リーチ
dama, um, the chance of the tile coming out is meh. Uh, about the same. If they draw it, they'll probably discard it. If I Ricci and they draw it and they push, then they'll probably discard it, or at least for these two people. If they reach, or if I Ricci, well, actually, even for this person, because they have to have like the last 7 to use this 9, or if they have a, or if they have it, or if they have the pair of it. Aside from that, they can't use the 9. So if someone does push my hand, the 9 is still really good. And 6 is hard to come out anyway. Plus with an extra 3,000 points, and then people having to be conscious of whether to fold or not, because like first place, unless they have something good, they're probably not going to fight. Because if I deal into them, then boom, instant, they're like sunk down. Third place probably doesn't want to deal into me in South too. If they get hit by a big dealer hand, then they're going to drop down. Last place probably wants to kind of push, but they're taking a bet as well, because if they get hit by a big hand, then they could Toby and end the game right there. Hmm. Yeah, considering that, I kind of like the reach. So like for Ricci, I usually kind of like view it as like several different types of weights. Weights that like won't come out even if you stay Dama. Weights that will come out whether you Dama or you Ricci if someone pushes because they can't use it in their hands, etc., etc. And then you also have like trap weights and all that. In this case though, I think this is actually kind of good for Ricci right here because the amount of points on the field is high enough that someone with a basic Tenpai Pinfu hand is willing to fight the dealer because there's enough points to make it worth it. Since that's the case, if they do fight, whether they fight or not, then that's not going to, well, if they are willing to fight, so, whether I Ricci or not, it's not going to change the winning percentage much. So I guess Ricci isn't bad right here, considering the
リー
extra
チ
points that I get. Alright, next one. Da, 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 da. What does this say? I don't think I can read that. South 2-2, 8 turn. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a fun one. So I got like very lost with this example. I'm like, oh, what do I do? So the weight that we have right here is just this 2-1, waiting on the 1 and the 4. But 1's dead right here, and I have 4 of them right here, so it's technically only waiting on 2 tiles. Rather than throwing out... yeah, rather than... yeah, actually, meh. I don't know. Rather than throwing out the 7 here, I definitely think I should have thrown out the 1. Because this right here is a nice shape in that, A, it could either rely on the Tonki, or B, if I do happen to get... if I do happen to get a extended tile on something, I can switch this over and then go to Tanyao even, and this can become my pair with a run, a pair right here, and then a run right here. Yeah, so I think 1 pin. Now this has also raised another question. Should I have thrown 9 right here, or should I have thrown the 1? What is the benefit of keeping the 1 right here? So the main thing I was like thinking whenever I'm like, oh, I should throw this as opposed to this, is because the 4, 5, 6, 7 block right here. So if we cover this up, then we're left with the 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, and I wanted to keep the 4 Renke. But if you look at that again, it's like, well, actually, you keep it either way, because if this is your pair, and this is, you know, something connecting to a run, you don't need that extra one pin right here. So actually, I think I probably should have just thrown the one pin right here in this case as well. Or another way you can look at it, in Mahjong, you usually want to kind of avoid even shapes. So like, you'd rather keep like a 3 shape than a 5 shape. For instance, like right here, we'd rather keep a 1 3 5 7 9 than a 3 5 7 9 because if we draw the 6, we're kind of sad. Similarly, this is like a big version of that where we have 10 tiles, and the 9 tile version of it is a little bit more beneficial than the 10 tile version of it. Yeah, I think I should throw one pin here too. And this is just kind of like one of those shapes of whenever you're playing the game and you encounter something that you're not really used to seeing, then you're just like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. Just leave it alone for right now. So yeah, I kind of like the one pin there. It's an interesting shape though. Okay, next up. I think this is the last one for this game. South 4, 4th turn. Dun dun. Or maybe I meant the next turn, because this one looks like it should be 8 mon. Okay, yeah, here we go. What do we throw here? So the difference between us and dealer is 3,500 points. Cut 8 mon instead of... Oh, you have a note. Cut 8 mon instead of Hatsu. We can look at that real quick. Actually, wait, this is South 4. Oh, I guess it's a little bit further up. Wait, cut 8 mon instead of Hatsu? Oh, right here. Huh. So in this case, we got 1 block, 2 blocks, 3, or maybe even 4 blocks. And we're still missing a block, no matter what we do. So should we keep the 8, or should we keep the Hatsu? In this case, I usually say throw the Hatsu, mainly because what we get from it. So for the Hatsu, we're good if we get, you know, what is that? Any of the 3 Hatsus. For the 8, we're good if we get another 8, or we can also get the 7, and we'd be pretty happy from that. If we get the 6, we're not actually that sad because we have this 4-4 right here. And so if we treat it as like a 3-3-4, and then we look at the 4 and the 8, the 8's nice because we get a 6, then it becomes our Ryokan shape right there. So this actually has some pretty nice utility. Furthermore, because we're in South, because we're in Oras, if we look at everyone's goals, what are they? East wants to win as fast as possible. This person wants to win as fast as possible. This person needs to win, but they need to win, what is that? 400, 700, 500, 700 points, or 5,700 points. So they need like Richi, Pinfu, I don't know, Richi, Pinfu, Tsumo, Tanyao, or Uradora. That would work for them. But they probably need Richi unless they got a Dora Bomb in their hand. So that being the case, I kind of like Hatsu here over the 8. It has more tiles that I'm like happy with. And then also getting rid of this earlier gives people less chances of pawning it.
Home.
Shori, thought about the point value. Since drawing another Hatsu is immediately 2,600 points, if you call, I guess I should have thought more about the value in advancing to a closed hand as well. That is true. Though I guess, how many ways can we actually get to a 2,600 point hand here? We already have like this right here, which is a solid 8 Fu, so it's pretty easy. If we just get like one more Anko, and even a Tonki, then we're already above 2,600 points. If we want to get in direct range, that's what we need. And if we Tsumo with a 2,600 point hand, then that's going to cover exactly what we need for Tsumo. So that's like our winning rate that we're going for. But how do we get that extra Han? So we can get that extra Han from Ricci, we can get that extra Han from Red Dora, or we can get that extra Han from a regular Dora. Ricci is beneficial because in that case, in the case that we just get only 2,600, then we need either a Tsumo or a direct hit. In the case that we can get up to 3,900 points, though, then we can win off of anyone. Especially good for this person because they have to push everything. Yeah, 3, so we have like technically Ipeco chance, we have red 5 chance, we have red 5 right here, and then also we have the door right here. Plus, yeah, and this makes the red 5 a little bit easier to use as well. So in this case right here, what do we do? If we're looking for that extra value, the 2 is really nice because we can use the 3. If we get a 1 or we get a 4, we're very happy. This one right here kind of has like some shared value in that either of them can use like the red 5. And then this one can also technically go to like Ipeco-ish over here. Or technically also 7 pairs as well as something we can do. But that's only 3,200 points base, and so that's not ideal. And then we have the 6. So now that we have the 6, technically we could use that with the 5 right there. Treat this as our pair, and then be like Kutsuki for the last tile, for instance. We draw a 3 and we're instantly Tenpai. So yeah, looking at this hand, I was thinking probably for the 7. Because we already have an Anko of this, and because we already have like a straight of this, the 7 kind of loses a little bit of its value. And going for Tenpai at this point is probably better than looking at the lesser Chitoitsu chance. Because even if we do get Chitoitsu, we need a direct hit or a Tsumo with reach. So I kind of like 7 pin here. I think I threw 4 pin in the game. Yeah, I think I like 7 pin here a little bit more. If they were like at 3,200 points or so, then yeah, I think 4 is not bad. But because Chitoitsu is not that viable of a solution, it's like a consolation prize at best. I think keeping the 4 around for the extra Okade is a little bit better. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, and that's all for this game. So I guess I'll go play more. And I'll probably be streaming that game as too, so it'll be on with a 5-minute delay. So if you're bored and you want to watch bad Mahjong, I'm here. Thanks for watching.